a date for surrender from Iraq, or whether, and choose to lose, or whether we let this strategy continue, led by this great general, led by this, with a strategy that is succeeding, and whether we will surrender or not to the enemy and someday fight them here at home or in other parts of the world. It's a stark choice, my friends, and I understand the frustration and the unhappiness and the sorrow of the sacrifice, that because the sacrifice that has been made. This war was mismanaged for a long period of time, and that's a fact. And now we have, and we suffered a great deal and sacrificed a great deal for them. Now we have, of course, as you probably know, a new general, a new strategy, and that strategy is succeeding. And it's only been in effect for some months. And we have to let it succeed, in my view. We have to give it an opportunity. And there are those Democrats and some Republicans who feel that we have to set a date for surrender or withdrawal. We can't do that, my friends. We cannot do that. We cannot allow these brave young Americans to be put in a position again where failure puts them in the harm's way. So I would also like to point out to you something that happened today, and I want to talk to you a little bit more. But you may know that in a full-page ad in the New York Times, a full-page ad appeared, this ad. It says, for those of you that can't read it, it says, General Petraeus or General Betrayers. And that's done by an outfit called MoveOn.org, a ultra-left-wing organization. My friends, I've not seen anything that disgraceful in a long, long time. For these people to impugn the integrity and honor of a man who has served his country and sacrificed and led this nation in uniform all of his adult life, and for them to say that is an absolute disgrace. And every American You know what's really disturbing? Not one single candidate, to my knowledge, for President of the United States on the Democrat side will repudiate that outrageous statement about this brave and honorable American. My friends, every single day I'm going to call on the Democrats to repudiate that ad and restore some way the honor and integrity and the reputation of this great and brave American. And I want to Before we go too much further, I have to recognize these young Americans here who are part of an organization called One, which is a great organization. They do wonderful things all over the world. I am grateful for you. Thank you for being here. And I will even, steady there, I will even in a minute or two while we do question and answer, I will let you state your case for your wonderful organization, and thank you for your involvement.
Thank you for your support, Senator.
Thank you very much. Could I just... I just point out to you that today, yesterday, Senator Clinton said that she did not believe General Petraeus's testimony before the Senate. In fact, she said, and I quote, she was a willing suspension of disbelief if she accepted General Petraeus's testimony. My friends, it is a willing suspension of disbelief if someone who wants to be President of the United States would not repudiate an outrageous statement such as this. So let me just say a few more words about the challenge we face. And I want to point out to you again what you and I know. Here in Iowa, New Hampshire, Arizona, around this country, we're saddened and frustrated and want us out. I want us out. You want us out. I want them out with honor. I want them to be able to return with honor and victory. And what does victory mean? Victory means that the Iraqi military take over our responsibilities. We gradually withdraw, as we are going to withdraw some next spring, and the Iraqi government function effectively, which they are not, and the Iraqi police do a better job, which they are not, and we have de-Baathification, revenue sharing, and other actions taken. But I also want to remind you that in Anbar province today, the so-called Sunni Triangle, where our casualties used to be the highest, things are dramatically better. In neighborhoods in Baghdad today, there are American and Iraqi soldiers side by side out there 24/7, providing an environment of security so that political, economic, and social process can move forward. Is it long and hard and tough? Yes. Yes, it's long and hard and tough. We've made many mistakes. And I'm afraid that there's some great Americans here in this audience who remember that we made mistakes in other wars. And that's one of the reasons why we avoid wars. And nobody understands better than our veterans that war is a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing. And there's only one thing worse than war, and that's defeat. And I am convinced that we cannot afford to allow the region to deteriorate into chaos. The Sunni in Saudi Arabia will have to help the Sunni. The Iranians are already exerting influence into southern Iran. They are manufacturing these new explosives which are killing American military men and women as we speak. The Syrians are emboldened and are trying to overthrow the government of Lebanon. The list goes on. The list goes on. And all of these things are a result of our failure, and they will get a lot worse if we declare that we are setting a timetable for withdrawal. Just a week ago, the president of Iran said, when the Americans leave, there will be a void which we will fill. That's basically his words. That's what this is really all about. So there's a lot at stake here. There's a great deal at stake here. And yes, our Guard and reserves are overstressed. The Iowa Guard has done magnificent work, and I know you're very proud of them. But I also want to point out to you about these young people who are serving today. I revere our greatest generation who are here. I revere our Vietnam and Korean War and Gulf War veterans. But I also want to tell you that I know that you know these are the very best of America. These young people are fighting under conditions which are of the utmost difficulty. As short a time ago as a couple of weeks ago, these young men and women were going outside into 135-degree heat with 40 pounds of body armor on and 30 or 40 pounds of equipment, and out there 10, 12 hours a day countering the evil of Al-Qaeda. They are the very, very, very best of us, and I know that. Could I just remind you, and I'm sure you read the newspapers and watch television, and you know that I have been, quote, hurt politically in the eyes of some because of my belief that we need to have this conflict brought to a successful conclusion. And of course I don't like that. Should I tell you that I like that? I can't fool some old veterans by saying that. But I can say to you that I try to keep things in perspective. And what helps me keep things in perspective is knowing the men and women such as are here, who have done so much for this country. John and Brandon and CR and all of the people and CJ who are here. A woman who was badly wounded yet covered it up so that she could continue to serve with her unit. And about a month ago, I was at a town hall meeting in Wolfboro, New Hampshire. Wolfboro, New Hampshire is a wonderful, beautiful place, and it was a town hall meeting, not unlike this one. And a woman stood up and she said, "Senator McCain, will you do me the favor of wearing a bracelet with my son's name on it, Matthew Stanley? He was killed in Baghdad just before Christmas last year." I told her I would be honored to wear the bracelet with his name on it. And then she said, "Will you please do everything you can to make sure that his death was not in vain?" My friends, that puts everything in perspective for you in our lives, and the great honor and privilege I have of knowing these great Americans and knowing that in the long run, we will succeed. We will beat back